Hi, everyone. Thank you for attending our session today on a student-driven initiative for creating a culture of academic integrity. We're so thrilled to speak on the challenges and successes of our very own ambassador program, and we hope this is an initiative that you can bring forth to your respective campuses as well. Before we get into the presentation, I just want to start off with a short introduction. My name is Hiranya Yogaratnaraja. I'm a final year Business Technology Management undergraduate student at Ryerson University in Canada. And in the scope of academic integrity, I'm the current outreach assistant at the Ryerson Academic Integrity Office, and I'm also the student lead of the Academic Integrity Ambassador Program. I'm joined today by my fellow colleagues from the Academic Integrity Office, Allison Miller and Asher Gaffar, who are both academic integrity specialists. If you have any questions or would like to connect with us after the presentation, we will have our contact information on the last slide, so please feel free to connect with us at any time. Let's dive right into the presentation. Now, before we get into the ambassador program, I wanted to talk a bit about what led us here to understanding the importance of it. Now, I've had the privilege of working with the Academic Integrity Office for the past 2 years. And one of the first things that I had to do when I came into this role was read and understand Ryerson's academic integrity policy. Like many other students before me, I'm sure, when a professor has told me to read about the academic integrity policy in the course outline, I just didn't. So I knew of its existence. I glanced through it, and I just went about my way, not caring too much, because at that time, to me, especially when I first entered undergraduate studies, academic integrity was a simple black and white idea, whether it's to cheat or not to cheat. So in my head, as long as I don't intentionally cheat, I'm good. But oh my, was I in for a very rude awakening when I applied for this position. And this thought process just stuck with me since then. How many other students are actually reading the policy and, understanding the content? Or how many of them are like me and not even know what the academic integrity policy is, but we know it exists and we just like, okay, we're not doing anything wrong, we just go about our way. We know from personal experience that many students know about the policy, but not many are actually familiar with the entirety of it. So we looked into existing research that was done on this very topic. And we found one, which was the pharmacy student's interpretation of academic integrity, which was done about 6 years ago. About 1,500 students were interviewed, and most of the students participating in the survey had heard about the concept at the time about academic integrity. But only 23% of them were actually able to explain what academic integrity meant. At the same time, 33% had no idea what the concept of academic integrity meant, even though they knew it existed. And moreover, about 43% of the students have never even heard of academic integrity, which was quite frightening at the time. To dive further, they also looked at how students were being informed about academic integrity, whether it be the policies, whether it be marketing, or what was happening. And the most popular options that were presented were the one teacher informed them about it. So about 30% of the students said that one of the professors informed them about academic integrity at the beginning of the semester. And of course, another popular option was that they were introduced to it during their lecture as part of the course outline introduction, which is also a very common response that we see. Now, even though this was 6 years ago, these numbers may have increased or decreased slightly over the years, but the concern still lies in the awareness of academic integrity. All, if not many, institutions have an academic integrity policy that clearly outlines the principles, the values, penalties, and everything beyond. However, academic integrity awareness goes beyond that. So the next question became, what approach can we take to increase the awareness among students? This is where the holistic approach comes in. Now, this is not a new topic, and in fact, many of our leading professors and advocates in academic integrity have all spoken extensively about this. Essentially, the holistic approach encourages integrity to be ingrained within every cell of the education system. So as Dr. Bretag has stated in her research, this means from the mission statements to marketing, to staff training, to curriculum design, and essentially everything in between. And I know this is not in place in all universities quite yet, but many universities that have implemented this approach have seen a tremendous positive response in their respective communities. Furthermore, most of the academic integrity policies hold students mainly responsible for upholding the integrity in their education systems. But is that all that students can contribute to? From a student perspective, myself and many other students understood our roles as such, making sure we abide by the policy and try to encourage our friends to do so as well. Now, what if we can change that around to encouraging students to take on the lead role in promoting a culture of academic integrity on campus, alongside the faculty, staff, and administration? What would that look like? Here's how we further bring the student voice. Now, I know many institutions have implemented student-led academic integrity ambassador programs in varying scopes and commitments. So this is not a unique or new idea that we're bringing in, but we're hoping the structure and the open conversations that we have implemented is something that can be shared and implemented within your respective campuses as well. So before we dive into the ambassador program, I wanted to talk about the Academic Integrity Awareness Week. This is something that we just recently launched about 2 weeks ago for the first time ever on our campus, and we hope that it continues to be an annual tradition. During this week, we had faculty-facing and student-facing events in collaboration with many of our community partners, such as the Student Life and Learning Support and the Ryerson Library. On the faculty-facing side, we had workshops that encouraged the holistic perspective, as we spoke about earlier, with events such as encouraging academic integrity with assessment design and promoting academic integrity in an online environment. On the student-facing side, we had, again, a variety of events ranging from identifying online disinformation, from anxious student to academic warrior, and many more. However, I think one of the most important, and in my opinion, one of the most successful events was Sipping with Integrity, Students Meet Faculty Conversations. Now, this is not the first time that we've hosted this event, and this is actually something that we launched last year. But this event was simply a conversation between faculty and students, just as it says, and it's a chance where students can come in and ask any questions that they have in relation to academic integrity. And why this event was such a success was because many students got to see a different side of their professors that they haven't seen before. Because we're so used to, especially with the online learning setting, we're only used to seeing our professors in a classroom setting. And we might not know the hard work that goes behind their teachings and their presentations and everything like that. So this was a really unique experience in that students got to ask very vulnerable and open questions towards the faculty. And the conversations that came out of it were exactly that, very raw, honest, but more importantly, eye-opening conversations. These conversations made it easier for the students to understand the teacher's perspectives and move forward in closing the gap between the two parties. One example that particularly comes to my mind was when one of our professors was sharing about how some of the images that they use in their presentation is some things that they've asked for permission from their colleagues, and it's specifically for that classroom setting. And when it's shared beyond the classroom, whether it be an online medium or shared with peers, it breaches the academic integrity policy. And that was something that not a lot of students even know or understand, because when we see it, we just see a presentation, we just assume that it's probably some Google image and then we just move on. But to know the lengths that professors go through to find the resources and present it to us and teach us about it, that was something that I personally learned and I thought was eye-opening. And I know many students similarly felt that way as well. Next slide. So the ambassador program is something that was started at Ryerson just about 4 years ago. And we've implemented many variations of it. We've had many events in partnership even with the International Center for Academic Integrity. But one thing that we noticed we were seeing was we weren't having a follow through in students. We had some students come, join, they'd participate in the events, and then they'd go, and then we won't have that response again to the next year. So we wanted to see how we can actually hold that demand for students coming in, promoting a culture of academic integrity through the ambassador program. So we restructured it just this year, and we had a 3-part plan in place. First was creating an executive structure. So we realized that when we give students responsibility of whether it be a role or whether it be a task or deadline, they have that much more conviction and commitment to complete that task. So we wanted to make sure that we implemented an executive structure within the ambassador program. So in the ambassador program, we have 4 branches. One is the marketing team, the events team, research team, and then we also have implemented the facilitation team. When each of this team have their own set of tasks with the team lead, again, completely student run, and of course, a staff lead from the Academic Integrity Office who will be directly supervising, answering any questions that they may have, just going forward, monitoring all the events that happen within their respective teams. Now, once the team lead and the students have been identified and they've been grouped, the communications are all handled by the team lead themselves, and the staff lead just comes in as just to supervise or answer any questions as previously mentioned. Next, the one thing that we wanted to do was really establish a time commitment. Now, if you look at a lot of the student clubs and student societies, there is a set time commitment that students agree upon when starting out the initial program at the beginning of the semester, so they know if that's something that's manageable for them and if that's something that they can fit into their schedules as planned. Students have hectic schedules, as you may all know. So one of the things that we wanted to really establish was a minimum time commitment required. So we wanted to establish either 2 hours a week, 10 hours a month, however you like it. And we set on 10 hours a month. That seemed to work best for a lot of the teams. And so far it's been going really well. A lot of the students have actually been contributing way more than 10 hours a month. So to see that students being voluntarily involved and being passionate about academic integrity has been an amazing turnout. And of course, finally, social media strategy. I don't think that the digital world is going down anytime soon. In fact, we're just advancing further and further in moving our lives and education platforms to the online learning, as COVID has proved. So social media strategy was something that we really wanted to implement because we know and we understand that students are 95% are on social media, understanding and learning a lot of the information. So the marketing team is dedicated solely for targeting social media approach, and that has been working out really well as well. On social media, we kind of get to show the students a different perspective that's not provided in the policy, that's not text, or that's not black and white. So the colorful approach in attracting and retaining students through social media has worked wonders. So that's also another key strategy in implementing the ambassador program. Next slide. So this is actually the implementation plan that we had when we rolled out the new ambassador program this year. So you get to see what we actually went through in bringing this to fruition. So stage 1 was establishing the team structure. So we already had a few members in the ambassador program from previous years. So we asked them if they wanted to take on a leadership role because we were already familiar with their work and contribution towards Academic Integrity Office. So if they wanted a leadership role, they can apply for it. And if not, we asked the interested candidates to send in an application, just like a student society. And once we were able to figure out the team leads and team members, then we wanted to see, well, what are some of the benefits that we can give for the students as being a part of the ambassador program? You know, it's important for the students to feel like they are receiving the benefits at the end of the day for whatever contributions they are making for academic integrity and creating a culture of academic integrity. So after speaking with my program director of Academic Integrity Office and my fellow staff, we all agreed that one of the things that was a really good learning opportunity for the students was networking sessions, not just with the staff at the Academic Integrity Office, but beyond that. The vice provost of academic or even our community members, because these are not opportunities that you get on a day-to-day basis. So being a part of the Academic Integrity Office, we thought that was a great value opportunity. So we presented that, and students are extremely excited for the networking opportunities we have. And we also wanted to go forward and implement a set meeting deadline or set meeting schedule going forward so that our staff can meet with the students on a regular basis to, again, continue that flow of pushing out the initiatives. And the next stage, of course, was social media strategy, because once we have the team set, once we have all the meetings and plans ready to go, we really wanted to be consistent on social media. And we have a wonderful social media team that has been doing that greatly. We've seen over a 60% increase in the social media following ever since our social media team took over. So it's been great in the results that we've been seeing that way. And final stage was to review how the program is going so far at the end of the term. So we're almost there at the end of the term, where we will be reviewing the social media analytics, our attendance at events, especially Academic Integrity Awareness Week. We also did a survey at the end of Academic Integrity Awareness Week to collect feedback from students on how we can improve it going forward. So we will also be analyzing that and meeting with the students to see what changes we can make, implementing and going forward, implementing it for the next cohort that comes in. So that was our implementation plan. And we hope this kind of gives you an idea about the implementation plan that you can put forward as well. And my final thought before we conclude this presentation: creating relationships between students and faculty that foster trust and respect may be the first step to creating long-term, lasting solutions for promoting academic integrity. So with any initiative, even the Academic Integrity Ambassador Program, the Awareness Week, all these student-led initiatives are a way to close that gap between the student and faculty perspectives. And it's a great chance for the students to see the humanity in faculty, and then the faculty to also understand the humanity in students. And that's all, folks. Thank you so much for attending our session today. I know if it was a live version, we'll be having a discussion question, we'll have breakout rooms, but since this is a recorded version, I just want to say thank you so much. I really hope you enjoyed our version of the Academic Integrity Ambassador programs and how we came to the idea. And if you have any questions or comments, or you just want to reach out to us, please feel free to do so. We'd love to connect with you and help you also set up the new Academic Integrity Ambassador Program on your campus. Thank you so much. Hope you have a great event.